what's up, everybody? It's Josh KI6NAZ back again to talk about CW with Howard from the Long Island CW Club. How you doing, Howard?
I'm fine today, Josh. How are you?
So I wanted to cover, and I think it's going to be interesting to a lot of people, is kind of what separates the Long Island CW Club from other ways to learn. You have a method, right?
Right.
So why don't you walk us through a little bit about that method for learning CW and how you help people learn?
Well, first, all our classes are done online using Zoom. We have people living on Long Island. We have people in California. We have people overseas that all come in by video conference. And the amazing thing about it is that even though a person can be further away from us than somebody local, everybody is the same strength, audio-wise and clarity-wise.
Sure.
It's the great equalizer. So it's fascinating. We could have somebody, we have a student from Australia, and he can be coming in, and he's just as clear and a pleasure to listen to as somebody like 10 miles away from us.
Sure, sure.
So we use this to our advantage. Instead of having like a brick and mortar physical place where that would mean everybody to get in their car and come, we decided that we do it online, and then people could join in whenever they had time and whenever it made sense to them. So we run, at this point, 14 classes per week, and we spread it out at different times. We have some later so that the West Coast students can come in, some earlier for those retirees that are around in the afternoon. So we make a mix, and we have it just about every day.
Yeah.
So we have two levels of beginners classes. We call it 1 and 2. And
Sure.
all of these dates and times can be found on the calendar on our website on Long Island, excuse me, cwclub.org,
Okay.
Long Island CW.club.org. The calendar has everything we've done in previous months and everything we'll do in the next week. So Beginners 1 is the first 20 characters that we teach, and Beginners 2 is the next 20.
Oh,
So we have 40 characters that are made up of the alphabet and what we call pro signs. So they're special signs that people use on CW to signify certain things of the QSO. So when you throw in your question marks and commas and everything and your pauses, you get 40 characters.
I was just thinking, you said first 20 characters. That's not all the alpha characters. Why the first 20?
We just decided to take the 40 that we had and divide them in half.
There you go. Okay, sounds good.
So it wasn't any great mathematics behind it.
Okay.
All right. So we keep the beginners classes in the two sections. So people are always joining the club. So this way we'll be starting like a new beginners 1 class every 3 months or so,
Right.
or more, as the demand arises, and people that are new can jump into that.
Right. Now,
However,
go ahead. Sorry.
however, even if we have advanced classes going, we encourage anybody to come to any class,
There you
because the more they immerse themselves, the better. We don't have a rigid format that you can only do this and you can only do that. You're welcome to any class we do.
And that was the question I was going to ask. Is so I have such a chaotic schedule. When the rare chances I can come to a class, I just kind of go to whatever's available because I figure anything is better than nothing, right?
That's right. And when we see that, the instructor usually will tailor the class to be able to include that person who hasn't had that much experience, so they don't feel left out in the cold.
And it's generally been great. I mean, whenever I come to a class and it's kind of not, I'm out of my technical syllabus, I guess you would call it. Everybody's very welcoming, and it's easy to get back into it, so it's great.
Well, we really get a kick out of people that come back because it shows that they're interested. So we try and encourage and nurture that. So it's very important for us to have a welcome for anybody who's come back after a hiatus.
Right.
So besides beginners, we have intermediate classes. We have sending classes twice a week where people practice their sending. And we also have on Wednesday night our QSO class. We do it in 2 parts. One is earlier in the afternoon, Eastern time. One is later at night, like 10 o'clock at night, Eastern time, so that we make sure that we can hear the West Coast stations.
Right.
Because the band, like 40 meters, doesn't really open up till about 10 o'clock our time to the West Coast.
Right.
So those are the type of classes that we have.
So the one of the things that was very interesting for me was your sending classes. There's a lot of different ways to do copy classes for copy or download software for copy, but the actual assistance in sending, and no joke, like real QSOs with people that are just out there, right, on the bands, that's, you facilitate that or help.
Yes. You know,
Yes.
one of the main things that beginners have a problem with is how to make really good dashes and dots
Mm-hmm.
when they're using a hand key. We encourage the hand key first, and then go into the keyer, but we're not rigid with that.
Right. Oh, so
Um,
when you say hand key, you're talking straight key.
that's straight key,
Oh,
right?
okay, okay. Yeah, interesting. Okay, I didn't really think about that. Is that just because you're in control of your dits and dots with a hand key versus you're letting the keyer do the work with like an iambic paddle?
We think it's a little bit too much to concentrate on the electronic mechanics of a keyer,
Uh,
to have that in your head at the same time wondering if you should take your hand off the dot or the dashes in time.
okay.
I think it's a little bit too much burden. So we figured, do the straight key at first and then progress into the electronic keys, or the bug for that matter,
Right.
semi-automatic when you're ready. In one or two cases, we have had people on the electronic keys earlier because maybe they had some sort of arthritis or some sort of
Oh,
carpal tunnel with their hand, making sending on the straight key a little bit more difficult. So we moved them up into the electronic key for physical reasons, but that's not too common. But we're not rigid with that.
oh, great. And I think that's another good point that should be mentioned is you have a very open kind of setup. Your approach to your classes, the approach to what hardware you use, you guys are very welcome with kind of supporting anybody. And that's one of the reasons why I like it so much is that, like we said earlier, you can kind of go to whatever class you want. You've got a preference, there's a recommendation, but it's not a hard and fast rule all the time if you can't make that happen.
Well, that's exactly right. And the reason being, Josh, and it's what we always say, if you're not having fun with CW, you're not going to stay with it.
Right.
I mean, CW is the same thing as learning a language.
Yep.
And you got to practice at it. It takes a little bit of, brain power and some dedication to work at it a few minutes every day. And if it becomes tedious or becomes a chore, something you're not looking forward to, you're going to stop. Like
Yeah.
anything else in life, everybody's very busy. Why would somebody cram in learning something abstract like CW if they weren't enjoying it? So we make sure that everybody's having fun.
This is a good question then for someone, they're interested, they want to come, to one of the classes or whatnot. What do they need other than a computer, obviously internet access and Zoom? Is there anything else that the user needs, like an oscillator or something? What do you recommend?
Well, we have to hear what they're sending during the sending classes.
Mm-hmm.
So, and sometimes we do sending in the beginners classes too.
Mm-hmm.
So any type of oscillator that makes a nice crisp tone is good.
Okay.
And if they don't have an oscillator, they can use the side tone on their rigs, and we can hear that too.
Okay. And that's like if for someone starting the club, that's what you kind of recommend.
That's what we would need. And then, of course, you need a computer, preferably Windows, because we use G4FON software.
Got it.
And it works easier on Windows. There are some guys that got it working on the Macs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all you need.
Do you still send out the kind of welcome package when somebody joins? You sent me a really great
When
email
somebody
with all the
joins-
links.
Yeah, when somebody joins, to get all the details of how to join and what they need to do. And we lay out exactly what we would like them to do and how to, go about downloading Zoom, downloading the software we use, and, where the classes are and what time. I did not finish about the QSO classes. If we could, do we have time to spend on that, Josh, or should we do that next time?
Yeah, go ahead. We've got about a minute. Go for it.
So one of the other most important classes that we have is the QSO class.
Yes.
And this is very interesting and very different. And we don't think anybody else is doing this right now in ham radio. We all get on the same frequencies with our radios.
Mm-hmm.
We all listen to the same station. and we all work that same station. I run those classes, and I handle the decoding because sometimes the code is being sent very fast or faster than the person is capable of receiving, or there could be QSB or some conditions that don't make it ideal. Mm-hmm. We don't want the person to be so nervous that they got to be receiving and sending at the same time.
Right.
So I take the pressure off with that, and I teach them how to go through what we call the protocol of a QSO, how to do it, and they concentrate on their sending, timing, and getting over the fear of getting on the air. Yeah. So once people stop sweating bullets about using CW on the air, they get to like it very much. The first times they're on the air, they need to take a shower after that, and we care about it. But the next QSO class and the next one, it's better and better. We've had people in the club 3 months that weren't doing any CW QSOs, and we just had one of our star fellows in Kentucky, Jason KY9I, that made 250 contacts on CW in field day after being with us in 3 months.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that was that's a really big distinction between other methods of learning CW. I found is you helped me through my first QSO, and
Julie, call again, Josh. He's got you. He's got you.
Yep.
Say Roger, Roger, Josh, CA. Josh, CA. You got him, Josh.
Nice.
I heard it on your radio. NU7Y.
And I feel like I'm much less apprehensive of doing that again in the future. I don't know that I'm ready to solo flight yet, but I'm working on it. So that was a wonderful experience.
Well, you did very well that night. You worked Texas that night, right, Josh?
I think so. Yeah. From Southern California.
And you did very well. You did very well.
Well, I'll take the compliment. Thank you very much. Howard, again, where would people find you on the web?
LongIslandCWClub.org. We have
Excellent.
A very nice website full of everything to do with CW, interesting videos, historical videos, funny videos, CW in the movies, links to other sites. It's something you could spend many hours on.
Yeah, it's very good. Go check them out if you're at all interested in trying maybe a different way to learn CW. There's many ways out there, but I think Howard's got a really good. Howard and your partner, what was your partner's
Rich,
called?
K2UPS, the
Right.
co-founder of the CW Club.
Excellent. So I think you guys got a really good thing going here, and it's awesome to hear over 160 people are currently in the club, and it's been almost just under a year or just over a year?
No, it's a year and a half, 167 members, 30 states,
awesome.
4 countries.
Excellent. Okay, well, thanks again. Remember, I'm Josh, KI6NAZ. This is the Ham Radio Crash Course. We've got a couple of more shows planned with Howard here, and we'll just keep doing them. You guys comment below if you have any questions that you'd like to pass on to Howard that we can do a video on. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So make sure you hit subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you soon.
No, thank you very much, Josh.